As a woman who has experienced the complexities of pregnancy and motherhood, I find the plot twist in Apartment 7A particularly chilling. It paints a grim picture of the lengths one might go to pursue their dreams and the sinister forces that can lie in wait when we least expect it. Warning, um, but if it wasn't, contains major spoilers for Apartment 7A. In subtly referencing Rosemary's Baby and delving into the backstories of its characters, Apartment 7A significantly deepens the storyline of the original film, starting just a few months prior to Rosemary's Baby. Apartment 7A gradually syncs with the parent movie's plot and creates several narrative intersections. By linking its story to Rosemary's Baby, Apartment 7A not only builds upon the original film's themes and character development, but also enhances a viewer's appreciation of the 1968 classic Eurogames result. Viewed critically, the response to Apartment 7A has been more varied than that of its predecessor film. Nevertheless, it warrants recognition for enriching the backstory of the original movie and presenting a self-contained narrative, given that several storylines from Apartment 7A significantly contribute to understanding events preceding Rosemary's Baby. It is beneficial to analyze how it offers a new perspective on the 1968 film, enabling viewers to appreciate it with renewed interest because the cult targeted another woman before Terry, and her name was Joan. In the initial storyline of Flat 7A, Terry receives an invitation from the Castadettes to reside in one of the Branford Building's homes. Given their cordial demeanor, Terry believes they are merely being hospitable and trusts their claim that they assisted the previous tenant of the house in regaining her footing. After she settles into her new residence within the building, Terry discovers a shoe bearing the name Joan. Upon querying Minnie about it, she learns that Joan was the former occupant of the house who unexpectedly abandoned the building one evening. Despite finding it peculiar that Joan departed so suddenly, Terry merely feels thankful she now has a place to stay. Yet, as time passes in the movie, when Joan's suspicion of the building's inhabitants intensifies, Terry decides to investigate and locate Joan. Her quest for answers eventually takes her to a nun at a nearby church who discloses that Joan was struck by a bus immediately after leaving the building, with witnesses claiming that someone was pursuing her. This revelation indicates that Joan was once the target of the coven and had probably fled upon learning their intentions towards her. 7, Lily Gardenia's death was linked with Terry's. Reason behind Lily's death was unclear in Rosemary's Baby. In the story of Rosemary's Baby, when Guy and Rosemary Woodhouse relocate to their new dwelling, they are informed by their agent that their former tenant, Lily Gardner, perished a few days prior. The couple ponders if her demise occurred within their residence, but the agent really guarantees that it was in a hospital setting. Although Rosemary's Baby doesn't disclose the circumstances surrounding Lily Gardner's death, the spinoff titled Apartment 7A offers some enlightening explanations on the matter. In the prequel film, it's shown that Lily was involved with the coven. But as time went on, she came to understand that she couldn't back their wicked scheme of enabling the Antichrist to rule the world. Consequently, in a bid to thwart the Coven's nefarious plans, she made an attempt to take Terry's life before she could give birth to her demonic offspring. Regrettably, before she managed to do so, someone from the cult ended up killing Lily instead. Um, so, um, six, Terry was a struggling dancer. The Castevets manipulated her by promising her material success. In the initial storyline of Apartment 7A, we see Terry as a successful dancer whose life takes an unfortunate turn after she sustains an ankle injury. Finding it challenging to secure work in her profession, Terry develops an addiction to painkillers and harbors concerns that her friend might eventually tire of her constant presence and refuse further assistance. And consequently, when the Castevets propose the residence for her and hint at knowing influential figures from her field, Terry quickly succumbs to their manipulations. Five, Alan Martian was also a resident of the Bramford building. He likely played a crucial role in Terry's recruitment as the cult's new target. As a passionate cinephile, I wasn't among the cast of Rosemary's Baby, but the intriguing prequel film introduces me as a fresh character residing within the iconic Renaissance revival apartment building. Get nice. Uh, I promise Terry a struggling dancer to help her secure better gigs, subtly ensnaring her into the sinister cult's plot, despite her preemptive action of killing me before the plan unfolds. Um, my character serves as an enticing catalyst for the main storyline. Kudos to Jim Sturgis for delivering a compelling performance as the villainous Alan Marchand in the Rosemary's Baby prequel film. And then that the Castevets had their eyes set on Rosemary's before Terry's death. Apartment 7A's mid-credit scene confirms the Castevets were always one step ahead of Rosemary. 7A Apartment also includes an intriguing mid-credit sequence that echoes a pivotal moment in Rosemary's Baby, where Rosemary Woodhouse and her husband Guy converse with police officers, revealing and Rosemary knows about Terry. Unlike the original film, this prequel offers a fresh take by portraying the scene from the Castevet's perspective instead of Rosemary's. And it showcases how the Castevets notice Rosemary at a distance and exchange a knowing smile before approaching the crime scene. Their mutual grin underscores that Rosemary was their contingency option. They were confident should things not pan out with Terry, they could resort to Rosemary, using her as an instrument for bringing the Antichrist into their realm. With this security in place, the two stroll toward the crime scene, feigning ignorance about Terry's demise. They even seize the moment to meet Rosemary and Guy and covertly lure them into the Coven's scheme. Three, Terry's death paved the way for Rosemary's Baby's events. Rosemary wouldn't have been targeted if it wasn't for Terry's death. In the closing scenes of Apartment 7A, it becomes clear that the Castevets and their cult were on the brink of persuading me to aid in the arrival of the Antichrist onto our world. And yet I made the decision to stand firm on the ethically correct path rather than ushering darkness into humanity's existence. Um, had I given in, it is likely that the cult members would not have set their sights on Rosemary, thus preventing the entire chain of events depicted in Rosemarys. So be a baby from unfolding altogether. That is the even entire oil gender of that fastest structure, one that is seizing or talents. Um, and it was to Terry's reason for keeping a baby was different from Rosemary's. Rosemary wished to embrace motherhood, while Terry wanted something else. Initially overjoyed about motherhood, Rosemary is apprehensive about the impact of her pregnancy on Terry's dance career. Therefore, the Castabets do not need to persuade Rosemary to keep the baby at first, um, but devise a strategy to encourage Terry to do so. Recognizing Terry's ambition to shine as a dancer someday, um, the Castabets assure her that they will assist her in advancing her dance career if she proceeds with her pregnancy, and eventually lets them care for their child. Terry consents to care for the child without realizing its consequences, effectively making a pact with something malevolent, if metaphorically speaking of her actions as selling her soul to the devil. Unlike Rosemary in the original story, she doesn't form an emotional bond with her child um, when she discovers that the child is truly wicked. She takes a decisive action to thwart the coven's nefarious plot once and for all. Um, and I guess this is a Rosemary second pot file, and get some seat and prayer, some experience. Terry tries to get an abortion in the prequel, um, but fails. In the chilling tale of Apartment 7A, I found myself deeply moved by the character named Terry, who embarked on a harrowing journey to uncover the truth about her pregnancy and a sinister cult's plans. Desperate for an escape from this nightmare, she sought an abortion only to discover an unseen malevolent force that thwarted her. The chilling scene where Terry attempts self-harm was a stark reminder of the impossible odds stacked against her in this tale mirroring Rosemary's Baby. It became evident that even if Rosemary had desired an abortion, she too would have been powerless to act under the watchful eye of this unrelenting force.